The question is that the motion be agreed to. And I give the call to the member for Hughes.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Very interesting. Sitting there, listening to the member for Bass's speech, we continually referred to cuts. In fact, I think, Deputy Speaker, he might have used that word at least half a dozen times. But yet, if I look through the numbers, Deputy Speaker, I see that when Labor was last in government in 2013, they spent $14.9 billion. Now, I would think if there was a cut, Deputy Speaker, it would mean that there's now less money than $14.9 billion being spent. But lo and behold, Deputy Speaker, the facts are that this year, the Turnbull coalition government is spending over $17 billion. We have spending for higher education at record levels. In fact, $2 billion more than what was spent under the last year of the Labor government. And yet, we have Labor member after Labor member coming into this chamber and saying, oh, there's cuts, these cuts are terrible. Deputy Speaker, this is why many people know that if a member of the Labor Party told you that it was raining outside, you'd want to go outside and check for yourself. Because they cannot, Deputy Speaker, talk and whinge about cuts time and time again when you actually look at the figures that there's no cuts. In fact, there's actually been an increase. And we see this, Deputy Speaker, almost across the board in every portfolio. And what really gets me, Deputy Speaker, is that we have a lot of people that come into our electorate offices and they want money spent on all sorts of good causes. Yes, we'd like to spend even more money on education. We'd like to spend more money on our hospitals, our roads, our public transport, our infrastructure, kids with disabilities. We'd like to put more and new drugs on the PBS, life-saving drugs. But we can only do so if we create the wealth in this country, if we use our resources that we have to the maximum amount and create wealth in the country. But every time it comes to a wealth-creating project, Deputy Speaker, you have Labor Party and the Greens joining together to try and block it. They seem to have a complete disconnect.
The member for Layla.
There is a complete disconnect over on that side of the House, Deputy Speaker, that you have to have projects in this country that create wealth to be able to give us the money that we need to spend things on, Deputy Speaker. Now, going through some of the other facts about these so-called cuts, we should remember, Deputy Speaker, that a student can get into university in this country without spending 1 cent up front. And I would hope that members of the Labor Party try and talk up higher education, that try and encourage students in their electorates to consider taking on higher education, but instead we hear all these things and these scare campaigns that they run that they can't afford it and sending all these negative messages to the students in their electorate. That is not what we need, Deputy Speaker. We need to tell the truth to the young people of this nation that they can get into university without 1 cent up front. And in fact, Deputy Speaker, the Commonwealth of Australia, other taxpayers are going to back them, and contribute at least 50% of their cost of their degree. They will get that, Deputy Speaker, as a gift from other taxpayers. And we have doing that, Deputy Speaker, with more and more opportunities. If we look, Deputy Speaker, at some of the other numbers, we know when Labor left office, or that wonderful years of the Gillard-Rudd regimes when they were chased out of town, Deputy Speaker, there were 1.1 million students in higher education. This year under the coalition, we're at 1.5 million students. This coalition government has given 400,000 additional students the opportunity to go to university because we have been increasing the funding for universities, not the nonsense that we hear from the Labor Party about these cuts, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, it goes on. we goes on, we're increasing the revenue, we're increasing funding. We understand the importance of universities on this side. We want to talk them up, and we want to give opportunities to young Australians to take that opportunity to go to university in this country. And I hope that the members of the opposition would support us rather than go on about fake cuts that don't exist.